Of taking a year off after the troubled and much publicized film Waterworld, but that was before he read the screenplay for Tin Cup, which is now his new movie co-starring Rene Russo. I spoke to him recently and he told me that although this comedy is set in the world of golf, it's about much more than swinging a club.
The job was to make the movie appeal to the golfers and likewise appeal to people who don't have any interest in it, who perceive it as a slow game. And we were successful in mixing those two elements so that, you know, be sure it is a movie. It is the best kind of boy-girl movie. It is not, you know, it's set against the world of golf.
First thing you gotta learn about this game, Doc, is it ain't about hitting some little white ball in some yonder hole. It's about inner demons, self-doubt, human frailty, and overcoming all that crap.
Yeah.
So, what kind of doctors you say you were?
I'm a psychologist. In layman's terms, call me neo-Jungian, postmodern Freudian, holistic secularist.
Okay.
So let's talk about the girl.
Yeah.
What's the matter with that? What does Tin Cup see in Rene Russo's character?
Well, I mean, he spent his life dating women that aren't really perceived as the kind of women that you bring home to mom. You know, I mean,
strippers.
In a cliche. Well, I think strippers are fine in America. You know, and motorcycle chicks and bar girls, which you know, I actually admire any woman in this country that's making a living. I really do. It's not an easy thing to do. Molly represents something that he hasn't seen before in his life, and it's worth the fight, it's worth the chase, it's worth the pursuit. Something different has happened in his life, and it's this blonde.
Tell me you're not just, like, at least moderately attracted to me.
You have moments, Roy.
Yeah, well, you tell me which ones are my moments, and I'll try and duplicate them.
This is a moment.
Now?
Yeah. I mean, just utterly exposed, completely vulnerable. Inner child trying to get out.
Yeah, my inner child needs spanking.
It's really kind of two of the greatest fantasies wrapped up into one. One is to perform at a level in a sporting event. All guys want to do that,
right,
and achieve something. The other thing is to get the girl by impressing the girl.
Right. Well, you know, you can make that script come out however you want. You know, that's the beauty of movies, you know. I mean, you read it and you say, look, I can save the day, I can hit the home run, I can do this, or I can lose and I can do whatever. The trick, though, is, are they dramatic? You know, because we go to the movies to feel things. We really do. We don't necessarily go to the movies to see things. I think that's overrated in a way, although it's a visual medium. I think we go deep down knowing that we're going to feel something. Something's going to move us. Something's going to stir us. We're going to be a little bit different when it's over. And I think when movies do that, they're at their best.
Do you think too often, though, we want the happy ending and we're disappointed by anything other?
I think we do, because, you know, we all live in a real world, and we know what the sharp points of life are, and for us to have, you know, that's why the movies have sustained themselves, because of the fantasy, because of the idea that we can make things come out the way we want. But movies very often, when they can be just as satisfying when they're understood, and can make you feel just as much. And you know, losing is an underrated experience in life.
If we were to look at your career as kind of the bell curve type situation, and hopefully it never gets to the bottom side of that, where does this movie sit on that scale?
I don't know that, because that's really for outside people to judge. I've loved every movie that I've worked on.
Really, everyone?
Yeah, I have, and you know, I've been disappointed myself sometimes with things, but every movie I've ever started with, you know, I've always felt had a chance for greatness, or I didn't start it. You know, people sometimes go, well, we're surprised this movie was successful. I'm never surprised if they're successful. I'm surprised when they don't you know, work. But for the most part, I go back and look at them, and I know they're great movies. You know, people want to look at maybe A Perfect World or The War or Wyatt Earp. I so much love those movies, and I know that when people actually do find those movies, they're going to find the quality that was inside them. They're going to find those movies were about something.
So much was made of Waterworld, and they called it the most expensive movie, and was it a flop? Was it a disaster? It has now made money. Why do you think people really sunk their teeth into that movie?
I've really not sorted that out. I know that I never worked so hard as I worked on that movie, and you know, put up with, you know, a lot of stuff. I'm proud of the efforts that went into that movie, and I'm proud that, you know, I took that movie around and supported it when no one else was. there was nothing left to do but to stand up. And so, you know, in a way, it's as high a mark as I can get. If you want to look at a bell curve, you know, that's a high water mark for me. That, you know, even in the midst of it, it went on, and we did it. You know.